All right, welcome back. We are looking into game 2 right now as both teams get ready for their respective drafts on their sides.
I believe Luna is still missing 2 bans.
We should be seeing that 2 ban loss coming out of Luna again this game.
I am interested to see if they do ban the Mordekaiser this game.
Yeah, it is going to be a different game entirely, as it does seem that DOG is swapping their mid laner from last game, Cooper, into the top lane, and they are subbing in what looks like Afron, who I believe is from their previous roster, into the mid lane. So a different set of top laners for DOG and a different set of mid laners, so it could potentially change the draft quite heavily. But something we definitely did learn from last game is that they shouldn't be allowing ZMG to get that Mordekaiser pick going into game
Especially
2.
if they're going to be picking Norn.
Yeah, definitely. It just made the game so impossible for their team.
I mean, they could let him get Mordekaiser if they maybe had like a counter pick ready, but like counter picking yourself does not seem very smart, especially when you have red side.
I agree. It just put them in a really, really bad position.
And it looks like Swole has a lot of fanboys in the chat.
Yeah. If Swole has 1 million fans and I'm one of them, Swole has 10. You guys are going crazy with it. It seems like Swole does have over 10 fans, so I guess that means we automatically are pushing into the million markers. Congratulations, Swole.
I'm expecting a Mordekaiser ban. I'm expecting maybe a Talia ban.
Yeah, I agree. The Talia was also a very big detriment to DOG that game. And considering they did have the ban advantage, we could have seen something I think a little stronger out of DOG for their ban sets. Knowing that that ZMG Luna can play those champions and how effective they were. Just looking at the stat sheet for Donut could have really made a big difference in deciding for that Talia ban. But I definitely don't think it's getting through game 2. I think that put a very big hurt on their main objectives for game 1.
Even if Heckram did might steal a Rift Herald and Baron, but you know, it's fine.
That's how it goes. Nothing ever goes perfect, right? I am definitely interested to see the change up in the draft, though. Considering that Luna is on red side, we will have the last pick for ZMG Luna and the first pick for DOG Rho. So I'm curious as to what they're going to be prio picking here in this situation.
It looks like we were waiting for ZMG to get their rack straight so that we could start draft.
Gotcha.
Okay, we're starting off with the Diana ban. Really not wanting to see a Diana. To be fair, Molly has played Yasuo in the past, so that could be kind of a stop on a Diana Yasuo angle.
That is true, and it does show up on Donut's recents if you dig a little bit. So I do feel like it's a decent ban coming out of them, but I would like to see if they're really looking to compete in the second game, a ban for that Talia, probably first wave, and a ban on the Mordekaiser second wave, definitely.
It's almost looking like they're sticking to their original bans from the previous game with the Diana, Nivea.
And if I know anything about the tried and true tactic of just running it back with the same comp, it never ends well for the team that's on the down spike. Switching sides and then running the same thing doesn't generally work out. So I hope to see something shaken up a little bit on DOG side, or at least a change in bans to kind of mix up what ZMG Luna has to bring to the table here.
Well, they could be a little more confident since they are now changing their top, mid, and adding a different person somewhere else.
That is true. I'm not sure about the specifics of it, but they might be trying some people out for the team or moving their positions around, which is very, very common in these tournaments.
Yes, because I believe Cooper is now top lane.
All right, we do see I believe that's a change from last game, right? Or did
Yes,
yeah,
because the
yeah. Oh,
Mumu.
yeah,
'Cause
duh.
they got rid of the Mumu support.
Yes. Looks like they are
Which I'm
ripping
a little
them
bit
off.
surprised, but you know.
Which does mean they're letting Talia through for first wave. Luna banning out the Seraphine, quite interesting.
Looks like they are going for that Hecarim again.
They first
Will we
picked the
see the
Hecarim,
Talia
and the
then? Oh yeah.
Talia immediately gets locked in. Both junglers for both teams getting locked in here. DOG going for the Hecarim again. Luna immediately picking in the Talia, which did in fact deal quite a bit of hurt in game one. Towards the end of the game, the scaling was much stronger than Talia, and although they were losing those objectives in the early game, Talia did manage to outscale.
And then there's the Mordekaiser we were talking about.
Both picks that I think needed to be prio banned for DOG, getting allowed through, and I think putting Luna in a really good position here.
It will be interesting to see if Dorado has a pick ready for the Mordekaiser since they did not ban it and have swapped their mid lane to the top lane.
I think that we're going to be seeing a top pick coming out second wave here. That's just what I assume, but I feel like it would be smarter for them to pick it in this first wave, considering they do know the Mordekaiser's on the table, and I wouldn't really want to personally risk losing the counters to that champion in the second wave bans. Um, Fiora does come out first wave, so they are playing the game a little bit here. They do bring out the Fiora. I'm not very privy to that matchup between the Fiora and the
Is
Mordekaiser.
Fiora favored, I believe, especially with the parry. I think she is able to parry the Mordekaiser ult.
Mordekaiser does have a decent amount of wind up time on that ability when he's casting it, so if the Fiora's on game, on point, should be able to parry every single one of those as they're dropping down. So that is a tough role for the Mordekaiser in this situation. I feel like it almost is a bad thing that they pick the Mordekaiser second here on Luna, considering they could have picked the ADC or the support in the second slot and then given DOG like force DOG to pick their next two, and then locked in Mordekaiser third on Luna's side, on red side, so that they didn't have the option to counter pick as quickly like that.
It is apparently a skill matchup. Fiora wins into Mordekaiser 50.07% of the time.
Okay, and
So it's a
that might be a little skewed now down, considering that Fiora did receive a little bit of a nerf recently, so those numbers may be up for debate. We might see another Swole show here if those numbers aren't accurate to the update in the data. But we do see a Victor and Yuumi ban coming out of ZMG Luna. They really don't want to see the Yuumi, it seems, and they really don't want to see that Victor, which I don't blame them. Victor is atrociously strong right now in this meta, so good on them.
especially in comp.
Especially in comp, yes. All right. We see the Blitz ban out of DOG Rho. It is looking like they are really trying to get rid of that pick potential that ZMG Luna was really leaning into game one. Leona's off the table now. Blitz is off the table, so that cheeky hook is gone. The engage on Amumu is gone, and that Leona engage is gone. So they're really looking to kind of cut off that ability for ZMG to pick anything that really has engage. Interesting choice with Renata. The synergy between Trist and Renata isn't exactly, from my understanding, fantastic. Tristana wanting to go in, Renata wanting to peel and get engaged on. So the different MOs in the bot lane, but could be a strong setup if they do get a decent matchup bot lane. So I'm curious
Well,
to
if
see.
Tristana does get ahead, Renata does offer a lot to Tristana in terms of her W.
And the
Just to
survivability
like
with that. Yeah, definitely. But I don't know how many
and
kills they're going to be getting on bot lane with a Karma set up to protect that Zeri with the heals and the shields and that move speed. So
I think the Renata ulti will also be pretty good once team fights start happening
mm,
against like maybe the Hecarim engage or Zeri engage. Just make them attack each other. Easy.
I agree. I think especially with Hecarim trying to go in, it would be a really good
Cassidon.
option for that.
Oh, okay, Viger. Okay.
Almost seeing the Kassadin pick in competitive play here. Um, interesting. It would have been a
Viger.
very big gamble considering they have no idea what ZMG is playing mid right now. But the Vigar is always a strong pick, considering that the enemy team doesn't have blinks or uh, a lot of dashes. Vigar can very easily set up a cage and lock down a lot of these
Dorado
champions.
did also need a big AP source, I think, with their current comp.
That is true. They couldn't really get the Cassiopeia rolling off the ground in game one. So it looks like they're transitioning into a much heavier scaling mid laner, and much more reliably scaling mid laner like Vigar over the Cassiopeia. Uh, I'm curious to see how Efron does lay out these cages because as a Vigar as a person who plays Vigar occasionally, it make or breaks the champion whether or not you play those cages correctly.
Yeah, because like that one time when you lost the game and I looked over and you weren't you in maxing your cage
I was
second?
learning. I was learning, Fig.
Immediate flame.
This isn't what I came here for.
You're like, we're looking at Luna, and that means.
All right.
Apparently, laughing is bad for me because it makes me cough harder.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself.
And I am kind of interested in this Syndra pick. I feel like I really do not see her often anymore.
I agree. It's a very strange pick. She's in kind of the she's. I personally stopped playing her because she's in a really bad position as a champion. She's kind of in the gutter when it comes to what she used to be and her former dominance in lane. She doesn't exactly have that anymore. She doesn't have the edge coming into the durability patch anymore, and she was kind of dropped by a majority of laners. I haven't seen her personally played in like 2 or 3 months, so I'm interested to see what Molly's gonna pull out with the Syndra.
I feel like Syndra is still like a strong pick into Vigar, like just like in an isolated case, assuming you kill him before he one shots you.
That is true, but Syndra lacks a lot of mobility in this situation, and I think that's going to be a very big problem with the Heckerman game, with how much mobility Zeri has, Fiora's chase
And
potential.
Karma's shield.
You know Karma's going to be running Shurelya's, so it's just like empowered ulti, Shurelya's, and the entire team is moving at Mach 10, like super sped up Hecarim and Zeri. Unless
I
Molly's
will
really on point with these stuns, I think the Syndra pick is going to be a little bit painful to play this game.
I will say though, in the previous game, Luna did have superior vision and were able to make a lot of picks on off of rotations.
That is
So I
true.
think if Syndra has the vision and has like the angle, she'll be very impactful in these fights.
That is true.
Or I
And
guess
as Syndra does level up, her abilities do change a little bit. Her Q, the ball, they do stay out longer after it's max ranked. The E does grow in its width, the angle it fires off of as it levels up, and those two abilities combined really lets Syndra drop a lot of balls on the ground and then have a very wide range of stun zone that she can work with. Not to mention that if Molly is uh, good at dropping that phantom stun ball where you cast your E on Syndra and you drop the ball during the animation and it kind of fires it in a way that you really can't dodge, uh, then we might be able to see some decent picks coming out with the follow up from that we did see from Luna in game one. So looking forward to it.
and with
Yeah.
that, I think we will take our small break while we wait for the 3 minute delay
Yep, we will
from
be right back.
integrity and stuff. Those small things.
We gotta give Fig a break as she's sick right now. You gotta rest the vocal cords. But we will be right back as soon as the game starts. All right, and welcome back. A slight little bit of a disconnect as DOG's vaunted did have to leave and come back really quick, and I did throw timers on, and let me just fix the mini map for you guys really quick because I did see a few of you talking about that earlier. About yay big. I do seem to be frozen. How about you? No, I'm good now.
Yes, it's the spectator bug. When someone DCs and reconnects, it bugs the 3-minute thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're going strong now. Do you want me to pause and wait for you so we're on the same spot?
What are you? Let me just pause.
32, 33.
I'm at 36. I'm at 36 right now.
Okay. If you want to pause, I'll tell you when I get to 5th.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay.
Wait.
Tell me where you paused at.
I paused at 38.
Okay. Here, let me just zoom this back a little bit. All right. 3, 2,
Okay.
1. All right.
And it looks like it's just a basic 5-point for the most part. So not exactly where he should be, but you know. It does appear that Dorado was able to get a little word over the chicken pit.
Minions have spawned.
Chris, we're on game 2 right now.
Yes, we are on game 2. Just getting in, a nice quick fresh start. Convincing win from ZMG Luna on game 1 as they set up for game 2 here. A very similar start as both teams are completely locked into that 5-man or for that 5-point on either side here. We're going to see an opposite side clear from Talia and Hecarim again. This is the same thing they did game 1 from the Talia. Stayed on the exact opposite side of the Hecarim for the entire first half of the game, and just maintained that farm and scaling, and gave really zero ability for the Talia to fall behind or get counter jungled at all, because they're always playing the opposite side of the map of the Hecarim. And although we did see the Hecarim did get some pressure out on the map and did influence the lanes a little harder than Talia in the beginning, picking up the first couple objectives, we did see the Talia completely outscale the Hecarim towards the second half of the game, which is definitely the MO of what this champion is supposed to be doing right now. So I'm wondering in game 2 what they can do to really change that outcome.
And now that I'm to change the scores on the underneath the portraits.
You are correct, I do.
And make it AGL and not APL.
Swol with a fantastic trade early on. How is it AGL? It's AGL.
Yeah, no, on the stream it says APL underneath the picture, like the logo by the mini map.
I'm so confused. I don't know what you mean. Can you tell Fig's already done with me? Can you guys tell?
It's fine. It's fine. We'll have our normal caster later on. No,
excuse me. Trying my best.
Considering this is your first time doing it, you're doing pretty well.
Thank you, Fig. Thank you. Coming from a seasoned veteran like yourself, that's it means. We do see Hecarim picking up the topside crab here, as he's looking for something on the Mordekaiser top. Doesn't seem like he's going to be going for it, as he's looking like he's completing his back and tri-bush here, as Talia does pick up the bottom crab. Again, completely trading sides. They're just staying on the opposite side from each other, and neither one of them is really picking up any different advantage from the other. In this kind of situation, you like to see your laners putting a little more pressure on, and we do see that top lane as Swol has been getting some back and forth trades. It is losing in CS a little bit to the Fiora, but that's kind of expected in this tough matchup. We see an engage coming on bot lane as Zeri is forced to flash early, and Karma as well, away from that really well-timed Talia gank coming out of Tribush. DOG not having vision for that, setting up even after the experience of Talia opposite siding the Hecarim last game, they did not expect anything like that. I think this early, considering how passive we saw Donut last game. Looking mid, it does look like Syndra has just taken their back. Was slightly ahead of Gold from the Veigar, did push him out of lane a little early. Veigar opting to not TP back, just walking back to lane and getting that wave under. Smart choice, honestly. The wave state was fine for it, and Syndra wasn't able to push it in, so these two laners fairly even right now. We see a gank coming in top lane as Talia is influencing the map in a very aggressive way compared to last game, and they do manage to first blood top lane for the Mordekaiser, which is a fantastic thing for ZMG in this situation, considering how hard we saw Swole influencing the map in game 1. We knew ahead of time going into this game that the Fiora-Mordekaiser matchup was going to be very coin flip, depending on how the lanes played, and I think this 400 gold onto Mordekaiser early is going to really, really impact how the end state of this lane turns out. ZMG bot lane with the push, push, push mentality. They're not giving any quarter to Zeri and Karma to really fight or do anything of the like in bot lane. It seems like they're keeping the pressure on, which is perfectly fine. As we see, Hecarim has taken a second back already at 6 minutes into the game. Presumably from lack of things to be done on the map. The camps are all cleared. He has no idea what the timers in Talia's camps are in this situation, considering that the only ward they have is on the red side blue buff to spot Talia, which it will do currently. They see Talia traveling to her Gromp right now, and Hecarim for once is on the same matched side as Talia, so they might be able to get something off here, as opposed to last game. Hecarim is spotted on that ward and is unable to stay hidden as Swole engages in the Fiora top lane, battling it out back and forth. Fiora is able to get off that last vital, proccing the ulti, but Swole is chasing her down as the pull just barely misses. Fiora getting out with just a little bit of health there, just narrowly dodging that.
That will be forced to back.
Yes, this does put top lane for ZMG in a very, very advantageous position. Syndra going in for a nice trade here, gets the stun off. Veigar missing a couple abilities as Syndra is just continuing to poke down as he does Molly does manage to get that solo kill there. Veigar just stepping into that range and really just battling it out with auto attacks as the Syndra comes off cooldown and gets that second rotation down into the Ignite ulti, and there's nothing Veigar can do there.
Except hit his abilities earlier.
True. Bot lane looking in a rough position as Zeri is at half health. They're pushing another wave in, and she might be forced to back fairly soon here and keep this advantage going for bot lane. Seems Veigar did take the TP back to lane, and Syndra was unable to get this plate, but Talia is posted up ready for this cheeky gank for the return, and with the Syndra stun, it does look like they're going to get a very, very easy full combo from the both of them, resulting in Veigar being just back into lane at a quarter HP, which is not exactly where the situation where he wants to be right now.
I mean, it almost feels like Hecarim is more or less power farming this game.
He's doing the exact opposite of what he did last game. He is completely ignoring his laners and just going head down, grindstoning on that farm life right now. We see Fiora does walk down here. I'm curious to see what this is about. Does drop the red ward in the pixel here on top side, maintaining that vision. I think that DOG might be looking for this Herald here, but we do just see a ward come down from Mordekaiser as he gets a cheeky pick onto the Fiora. Talia right behind, and this is for sure this resulting in a very easy kill for ZMG, as this Fiora is not having the best of times. Walking completely blind into this pixel bush, no wards, knowing that Mordekaiser is not on the wave there's no reason you should be walking up to a bush like that.
Yeah, deep vision is good, but only if you can like live to see it. You know.
It definitely was not a safe time. We do see again deep vision coming out of bot lane. Lucky that someone's not sat up in one of these bushes waiting for them too. As they are walking back into lane, Renata very forward, just looking for the shield trade there. Nothing really occurring off of that little back and forth. We see Talia in the mid bush again, looking for that cheeky gank onto the Vigar. However, Vigar's rotated fully out of lane, bot lane, and we see a full engage going on to the bot lane as the Renata ulti does come out under tower. Hecarim leaving at half health, and the Talia following up very closely after. However, none of the abilities seem to land in the right place at the right time, and it does seem like Hecarim gets out as Talia is forced to flash out of the fight. Syndra with a big stun coming out of the bush there, just barely not managing to kill the Zeri as we do see the Tristana fall in return there. Very back and forth fight there for ZMG. It looked very promising with the Talia coming in on the riding the wall down, but it just didn't connect the way they needed it to, and resulted in DOG managing to turn that around and get a little more damage coming out of the Vigar with that fadeaway ulti.
I will say though, the past 2 games Swole has gone to Ignite. I'm kind of surprised that that Dorado didn't really take a more aggressive summoner, knowing that.
Speaking of some more action, Syndra is 1v1ing the Vigar and gets the kill as we do see Donut getting pounded down by the Hecarim on the Wraith camp there, and the Karma with the lockdown, just unable to get away as Syndra cuts the losses and moves back to secure the kill on Vigar, going 1-for-1 there. And we see Swole in this top lane position, even though he's down CS because of the harass from the Fiora here. He is just maintaining that constant pressure, and Fiora does seem like she's really unable to fight him at all. Every time she goes in, it just seems like the shield off the Mordekaiser is just more than the Fiora can handle in this situation. And my God, look at the wards bot lane right now. ZMG is completely warded up. Almost too many words in his Dragon Pit.
We need four wards in Dragon Pit, but like, you know, as a support main, you know, I'm just like, oh, at least people are warding, you know.
Exactly. M7 Trashcan opting not to take out that ward in the Tribush bot side for them, despite having that red ward in there to clear the vision. Opts to not take that free experience in gold, as opposed to sitting in range of these minions here. Vigar hovering top lane towards the Herald. It looks like they might be committing for this right now, but it does look like Hecarim's taking the back instead. Interesting, considering that Talia shouldn't be topside with her camps down here. It would have been a very good opportunity for them to, I think, close the gap in gold a little bit by picking up that objective.
I feel like I'm just surprised that ZMG hasn't gone for the Drake yet, to be honest. They've had full vision control of it, and Prio bot lane.
I agree. I think Talia is just focusing on making sure she has enough farm. Hecarim being off the map for that long, really in a situation where he should be ahead in farm, Talia is managing to keep up, which is very good for ZMG. The classic little skirmishes going up top and mid for ZMG, coming out a little ahead with the abuse that their champions can put out. But we do see that Talia is moving to pressure this bottom side river, collect this Scuttle Crab, and potentially make something happen on the bottom side of the map here, as they are getting very heavily poked down by the Zeri and Karma. Hecarim hovering very close by, clearing that ward out, keeping ZMG Luna's bot lane very humble in their positioning, as it is a very big danger mark for him to be there. He has backed out, and it does look like the posturing from Talia is looking for an ulti in, a ride down on these walls. We see the Vigar's TP is pinged by Syndra, as she may be looking for a roam timer here. But after all that waiting, it doesn't seem like we get anything out of that anticipation from ZMG Luna, as they're not willing to pull the trigger on that fight. However, with that reset, as I'm sure you're about to say, Fig.
Yeah, I was like, wait, Dorado's gonna get this Drake for free.
Yep.
Like, we've had Prio over this Drake for like the last, like, what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, and with that really bad timed recall from the Talia, the Renata, and the Tristana in that situation, as it seems that ZMG just hands over the Drake. Swole with another big 1v1 in the top lane. Looks like that first blood gold is really coming into effect as he's really just putting the pressure on, making sure that everybody knows that this is his lane right now. Which just begs the question.
Disrespectful for Dorado not to ban the Mordekaiser.
I was just about to say, like, it really puts into perspective I think the misplay in not banning that Mordekaiser earlier, giving them the Talia and the Mordekaiser 2 games in a row, despite how last game turned out, how heavily they impacted the game. Letting ZMG have that 2 games in a row, I just think is just not a good call from a draft perspective, especially with that 2 ban advantage that they really could have pressured, I think.
Syndra will have to be a little careful here. It does look like they are attempting to collapse.
A big stun off the Syndra. The Hecarim is able to keep up with the Ghost ulti, but unable to connect as Syndra flashes away. Vigar predatoring forward, and the combo just doesn't hit as Syndra does flash the fear from Hecarim getting out nice and safe.
For that to work, the Vigar had to already been there and put the baby cage down first, I believe.
I agree. That or Hecarim had to come in from a different angle. I think coming from the turret and giving Syndra a lot of time to react to that, I think cut down on the ability of that play to work there.
So either Hecarim needed to push the Syndra into the Vigar, or Vigar had to be there first to set up the cage.
A little camaraderie coming out of Syndra as they throw the Scuttle Crab towards their jungler, knocking the shield off. As we see bot lane kind of shake hands again as they're just complacently playing the lane out, farming. I don't think, honestly, the passive approach here is a good idea from ZMG Luna. I think they need to be more aggressive with their picks here, and really kind of utilize the Tristana a little more effectively. Obviously not in this position with the Hecarim right behind there, but we do see Syndra and Talia hovering as they're deciding to go mid instead of bot. And it does look like it's going to be a forced flash out of Vigar mid lane as bot lane struggles to deal with the Zeri Karma poke that they have kind of scaled into. It seems like they are having a harder time competing with that poke as they did get through the early game, and Tristana lost that edge that they carry in the first couple levels of the game.
It almost feels like maybe they should have had the
oh goodness, a big ulti coming down from Hecarim and Vigar as Syndra gets melted trying to push in this Herald for a second crash. The crash does hit, but I don't think that was worth it in that situation.
I feel like even if they're going to be playing passive bot lane, they need to be at least rotating the Tristana around to try to help get these turrets.
I really agree. And in this situation, Tristana's such an effective tower taker, you'd hope that bot lane would have that tower down, especially with how much pressure they put on that turret early. And you would see the Tristana rotating in the top or in the mid, and that ADC pick being the one taking those towers down. With how the champion operates, but we're not seeing that right now as I think we're playing a little too passive in the bot lane for sure.
Which I think kind of goes along with that synergy we were talking about with the Tristana and Renata.
That is just not there, right?
Can get Entei engaged while Tristana wants to just go.
Exactly, yeah. And I do credit our DOG for that ban on those 2 supports. Very heavily forcing down the support bans so that ZMG really couldn't pick out of their pool for their engaged supports to make anything really happen to the bot lane, especially after seeing that Tristana pick.
And with that being said, Drake is coming up soon, so it'll be interesting to see how ZMG postures.
We see another fight going down top lane as Swole is just laying down the Fiora for the 4th time in the game. It's hard to even say anything about it because they more or less did this to themselves with the draft. But we do see the TP coming out of Vigar to bot lane to kind of pressure on a little harder on this gank bot. Renata walks back in, resulting in the Vigar being able to cage and lock her down. However, Hecarim pushes a little farther under turret and gets taken out by the tower damage on top of the remainder of ZMG under that tower. Talia not opting to take that blast cone over the wall into the Karma, letting them walk out for free and leaving this as a 2-for-1 trade here. Opting instead to fully commit to this Drake as Syndra holds the side against the Vygar. They do get enough of the zone as Vygar does cast the Everfrost backwards. As Talia is able to completely secure this Drake with Hecarim dead.
That was kind of a loss for Dorado. Because, I mean, Hecarim did not need to die there. And if Hecarim was alive, I think that would have been a free dragon.
I agree. I think that was entirely in their favor, especially how oppressive that gank was with the TP on there. They had the full numbers advantage, and they just had to walk over and pressure the Drake. We do finally see Tristana taking the bot lane turret here. Free and safe of the resets from that last fight. Is able to come back and just clean that up really quick. Mordekaiser top lane, Swole taking another fight with a Fiora as she drops the ulti down. Talia right behind as it wasn't even a competition without Talia there, and it just makes it even worse that they are. Renato with a clean little slam, resulting in Zeri and Karma not being able to really take an aggressive posture against the Tristana there. That being the upside we have been seeing during these fights, that is Renata being able to kind of slow down that lockdown that Karma brings into the lane. Tristana being able to jump away and, you know, really slowing down that all-in.
Really, at this point, like, does Dorado even have anyone that can match the Mordekaiser?
Absolutely not. I think this is a bit of a crux in their game plan here. They picked another champion that can duel. They picked the champion this time that could duel, which is different than the Ornn. However, the Mordekaiser just got ahead too early, and it's just been a constant downhill sway for DOG in the top lane from that first kill on, especially seeing that Hecarim hasn't even remotely come top, and Talia's hit the lane multiple times already.
Dorado more or less has abandoned top lane, is what I've.
We haven't been seeing all of that pressure going into bot and mid lane. Couple ganks mid, but mainly focusing bot lane. Fiora walking directly into the Mordekaiser here. As the claw hits and the ulti comes down, Fiora is in a bad spot again as she's waiting for her dash to come down. The flash comes over the wall, but Mordekaiser can follow freely and just cleans up the kill as Fiora really has no way to escape from this monstrosity. This raid boss top lane at the moment is just completely owning this side of the map and forcing DOG to really play this 4v4 out and I don't really think they have the capability to do so. A bad set of positioning does result in 2 of ZMG's members going down as, a big combo from Talia landing down, just barely able to clean up the Zeri there. But Syndra not being in that fight really put them in a bad position, as she is here now, trying to lay out the Hecarim, but is unable to get the damage out even with the ulti. Hecarim having a lot of health off that chem tank. But Mordekaiser in the top lane does manage to take down over half of the health of that top lane turret, and is just been overly uncontested as Hecarim's coming into an empty top side. Which is really going to start putting a pinch on DOG here, as the jungler is unable to farm in this situation with how much pressure they're seeing out of their top lane, the ZMG's top laner right now.
On a completely side note, I do. Wait, why is
Fiora
there?
going in to contest the Gromp that she doesn't know Mordekaiser's on, getting over the wall, just barely getting out, but another really blind all into the Mordekaiser. He's got to play a little smarter here, especially with how strong the Mord is. Can't keep letting him get away with this. But what were you saying, Fig?
I was gonna say, it seems like Tristana keeps putting herself into a very bad situation in all these fights. It looks like they're trying to force this play where Talia knocks up or knocks back somewhat, and then Tristana ults them into the team. But every time that happens, it feels like Tristana then gets like in an unfortunate situation with the Hecarim.
Yep, every single time, especially with the buffer being up for that dash. I don't think it's being executed, I think, as effectively as they could. Not even much to say about top lane. Fiora really just dropping the parry early and allowing Mordekaiser to have a free ulti on her. As soon as that ult hits with the Rylai's, Fiora isn't going anywhere. and Swole really just has free reign to walk the champion down. The
They want to
AoE
contest this
burn,
Drake,
the
but
Rift
like,
Maker, and the fact that he has a Bramble Vest right now is just like they can't do anything.
they want to contest this Drake, but like with the Mordekaiser pushing top lane, like I like almost feel like he can 1v3 here.
It's very close. It might be a mistake to overstay like this. The shield doesn't come down yet. There's the shield coming in as he's really laying down the heat, but unable to finish up the kill as he's splitting the damage up between the three of them. If he had ulti in that situation, it was without a question a one fight if he pulled any of the stats from those champions, but he was unable to after just fighting the Fiora 1v1. Zeri managing to clean up a clean 1,000 gold off of the Mordekaiser there might be a really bad thing for ZMG here. Could be the turning point they need.
That did allow ZMG to pick up that Drake. And now it's going to be up to getting pressure around Baron. I honestly think you've sent Swole bot now, right? Like, just keep him knocking at the base door.
That is true. The full Thorn Mail has just come out. So hopefully that does put the extra edge onto the Mordekaiser that he needs to stay alive in those worst kind of 1v3 situations that he might be seeing himself a little more prevalent in as the game moves forward and people other than Fiora start to address him. Hecarim moving forward in a very greedy spot as he is forced to ulti away as the rest of ZMG is right behind the Taliyah to back her up. Syndra with a very cheeky full combo onto the Zeri without Karma next to back him up with a shield just results in the Zeri going down immediately within one combo from the Syndra. Really showing why Molly was so comfortable picking it in the draft, despite the champion's kind of weaker situation that we've seen throughout this season after the durability update. Mordekaiser walking down the Veigar. CMG does secure the Baron as Veigar is very expectedly walked down by Mr. Raid Boss Swole here. Hecarim
The
and
only way they can deal with a Swole at this point is sending 3 to 4 people. But with that, the rest of ZMG kind of gets...
Even then, with the Thornmail pickup, Zeri's not going to be doing enough damage. Hecarim's not going to be doing enough damage to really beat him down, and he's multiple levels above them right now. He's level 17 to Zeri's level 12. Like, he is absolutely, completely outscaled the enemy team, and we might be seeing another 3v1 situation. We don't, however. Swole has learned from his past mistakes, and as the rotation does come down to try to clean him up, he does get to walk away for free here, and even takes up the Krugs on his way out as DOG does split gold and XP with the Zeri bot lane on that turret. Not exactly the turnout you want to be seeing when when you're trying to battle back like this from a really rough position with the Mordekaiser in the situation that we're at. We do see some pings coming out in the chat. The Taliyah does to be seeming to suffer from 514 MS right now. It's a little lag going on the ZMG side. I'm curious as to see why there hasn't been a pause yet. And for those of you a little astute, you may have seen a flash of a surrender vote off blue side. Incomplete 3-2, so...
They're not exactly having fun.
No, I would agree. Swole's situation does make it very challenging for them to play this game out, and really lets the rest of the team kind of work for free, doing whatever they want. We see Tristana taking that top lane turret as they try to make an engage mid, but they are unable to, even with the flashes connecting. Hecarim going in very aggressively. Syndra flashing over to the right, getting out of dodge as she Zonya's ulties the Fiora. Fiora just barely managing to pick up as Taliyah backs up. Veigar managing to clean up the kill onto the... Fiora managing to clean up the kill on Syndra. Taliyah just managing to walk away as Veigar is unable to hit and lock down those last couple abilities onto him. Swole just casually hitting one of the inhibs as Tristana was able to take the top inhib as well. Even if they lost those two players on the ZMG side, the 2 inhib loss here going into potential third Drake for ZMG, I just don't think is worth it.
And Tristana getting the kill on the Hecarim, winning the 1v1 trade.
It does seem while I was hovering over the enemy base, Hecarim did make a go for him. Zeri potentially in trouble here as Raid boss Mordekaiser walks back over to her, but she is able to put enough distance in between to dissuade from
The next
continuing on.
break will be up in about 30 seconds, so...
It looks like the entirety of ZMG is going to have full prio on that. Hecarim dead. I don't think they even bothered to contest with the now super waves coming in to crash into DOG's base here.
Although they're only down about 4 kills, they are down almost 10k gold. But it's like, what, 8k right now?
And how much of that do we think is on Mordekaiser right now?
Right now, Mordekaiser's at 14,000 gold, while Fiora's at 9,000. So.
That's a 5k gold difference on just the top laner alone. Really, really locking in how much Swole is really putting the ZMG team in a position to win here.
It's just kind of a more
It really is. I don't see, honestly, a way that DOG can come back into this game based on the state of the game. I think that moving forward in this, it's just like we saw in Game 1, it's going to be a very slow choke until they do manage to snuff out DOG as they're walking in with the supers
I don't know why
inside.
they gave him Mordekaiser again. Like the Talia is a little bit iffy. Like, I guess you could get a better, like, I guess, counter for that.
Matchup. Tristana does get caught out here. The Renata ult not being able to save her, although it does hit 2 people. They chunked most of the team down to half HP, but really aren't able to make anything happen as Mordekaiser's getting locked down by this cage as well. Mordekaiser not able to kill the Zeri as he's just not quite strong enough, even with how ahead he is. Syndra going in, suiciding for what seemed like certain death to get a kill there, results in a quick-timed Zhonya's that does save him for certain death there. Managing to clutch out a couple kills, get the ulti off, and drop one of the Syndra balls just in time for the Zhonya's to secure those kills there. Quite a good performance from Molly there. Very, very, very greedy flash forward that could have gone multiple ways there, but he does manage to pull it off and secure what is that Nexus tower for CMG, as they do back up to lick their wounds and reconvene, most likely for Baron here in the next 30 seconds. Talia stopping to clear out the blue from Hecarim, really just continuing to shut down the amount of gold this guy can get, and you see that as Talia has 40 CS up on the Hecarim right now. A little bit more preparation coming from the from ZMG, as most of the members are out of base and walking to Baron right now. Tristana cleaning up the red buff in preparation to grab this Baron and clean up the game with a 3-inhib lead right now.
Almost like Dorado abandoned top lane. Like, I feel like there should have been a lot more help there before Mordekaiser became the current form.
It really seemed like the wrong call with how effective he was early. Zeri getting caught out by Molly mid lane is just, I think, the piece de resistance on this situation, as it's a 4v5 with Baron buff and 3 super waves crashing in at the same time. I don't see any way DOG comes back from this, as they split them up, divide and conquer, and really just set up for a very secured win in this situation, as I don't think there's anything DOG can do to defend against, well, raid boss Mordekaiser with the rest of the team backing him up there.
And with that, ZMG Luna will win their second game of this series and beat Dorado 2-0.
A very convincing win from ZMG there. We're going to try our best to get Swole over here for a quick interview, so I will set the break and we'll try to grab him in a quick second, alright? All right, and we are back with SwolPingu himself after those very two convincing games. The bastion of ZMG, kind of leading the leading the charge on pretty much all of the damage for both games, as the two very convincing games coming out of the Mordekaiser. What do you have to say coming out of game two?
Game two, I was a little bit nervous about the Fiora pick, but after watching a matchup tutorial, and getting just those two perfectly timed rotations back from the jungler, it was game from there.
Yeah, that
Were
is
you
that.
kind of surprised that they allowed you to get Mordekaiser game 2?
Considering he picked Fiora, it makes sense. I don't think they should have, obviously, but it's their choice.
It seemed like they were very confident coming out of game one that they had the answer to you for game two. It almost seemed like they left it open with like purpose for you to pick it again,
Yeah.
with like that intention to play the Fiora into you, but it just didn't seem like he had any legs to stand on the entire lane. Do you think it was just the Fiora, just the ganks off Talia? Because they were very, very influential, I think, in the amount of damage you're putting out. But it seemed like you hit a point where the Fiora really couldn't touch you at all.
The biggest problem with the lane is getting the AP necessary to kill her before she heals off of just her fantastic kit. So those ganks gave me the gold earlier to kill her, and if I didn't get those, it would have been maybe a little bit longer until I'm able to 1v1 her so convincingly, just because of how good she is at taking plates. That really hurt.
That is true. We were talking, however, in the beginning of the game during draft that Fiora did receive a pretty harsh nerf recently, especially to her healing. So, do you think that played a big part in kind of crushing the lane there?
Yeah, it definitely could have. It definitely did, because I don't know how I didn't kill him after ulting him under tower. That made me scared just a little bit, but thank God for those
Where he
nerfs.
like ran away with like 20 HP or something.
Yeah.
Were you
Like-
guys going a little bit nervous today, going in with 2 roster changes this week?
We were questioning. The biggest problem we had was just finding the people. After that, we just played how we normally do, as much as we can, with the 2 new people who did great, and we were just able to get the win.
It did seem like you guys had a really convincing set of games there. It was a little shaky game one. I kind of saw that the pressure was kind of getting a little uneven with how your new jungler was operating on the Talia. But we very quickly changed our opinions on that after he kind of hit his stride towards the middle of the game. Have you played
Yeah.
with him? I know you guys just subbed him in today. Have you had like time to play with him at all, like in a tryout situation, or was it a very last minute kind of sub in?
No, I met him right before game one.
Okay. So very lucky right off the bat synergy there, as he was really able to kind of influence the map pretty well for you guys both games.
Yes.
Especially with
how-
them letting the Talia through two times in a back to back. Like,
Questionable.
yeah.
How does it feel to have a 100% win rate as well, for a series at least, considering Luna will now be 5-2, and the 2 games that we have lost were the first 2 before you joined the team.
That's just really satisfying to see, just week by week, just ironing out the mistakes, the communication, the misplays, and just being able to execute our champions the way that and the comps that they need to be to win these games.
Yeah, I didn't see you try to ult the
Nope.
Warren mid dash last game.
Never again.
You're getting a quick question out of the chat here, and it's do you think you're the best top laner in the league? That's the big question.
The problem is, I'm really confused by the top laners in the league, because of sometimes they just pick champions who are not good in a 5v5 environment where everyone has comms, and then the way they're playing and the way they're taking trades, I don't know what to say.
It did seem like the second half of that last game, the Fiora was just dashing over walls into you and just walking into you like at very very strange portions of the game. With like, and from our perspective, we saw the vision. Like, there's no vision in the places that she's walking into you. She's just blindly walking in, and getting kind of right up in your face, just like meeting directly in bushes and just not having a great time out of it. So we definitely see what you're talking about there.
Molly's asking, what was your opinion on the Syndra?
I mean, every time I've seen him play Syndra recently, he's just annihilated the enemy mid laner. I don't know how. I thought Syndra was garbage,
I
but I mean,
I agree. I was talking about it at the start of the game. I was questioning the pick and like holistically. I had no idea why he picked it. This season, like this the during durability patch, he's just been getting absolutely shit stomped. I don't
that's
know
what
if
I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. It works though.
she's like at a 40 something% win right now. Like she's not in a good spot. So it was very refreshing seeing a little bit of Syndra domination after a long time. I haven't seen her in months, so it was nice to see Molly put out the performance.
Yeah, he did good.
On her game too, yeah, definitely. Um, could you tell us a little bit about draft game two? Because it seemed like the first game you guys had a better idea of what you were going into with. The second game we were a little confused on the Tristana Renata bot lane. It didn't seem like it kind of meshed with the rest of the team that was going on. Was there
That's
anything
actually.
behind that, or was it an intentional kind of thing, or like last second, like down to the
I'm
final
not gonna
minute
lie. In
situation?
the later parts of the draft, I was definitely watching the matchup video. But considering they picked Hecarim is troll. He's trolling on Hecarim. Just off that alone, I think we win draft. Our Talia is just too good. Our bot lane, they're confident in what they were doing, and yeah, and they just didn't ban anything that was actually problematic from game one, which gave us an opportunity to repick the two with the Mordekaiser and the Talia. So
You're definitely
I
preaching to the
was
choir on that.
surprised.
Yeah.
We were just surprised that they banned the Mumu. Like, I'm not saying Mumu was a bad pick, but we just felt like the Mordekaiser or the Talia may have been a higher priority.
it's it's questionable.
Definitely. Realistically, you would have expected them to like, with how good you guys did game one, especially on like the Mumu, the Talia, and the Mordekaiser, they would have just ripped all three of those champions out wave one just to make sure that you guys didn't get them. Considering
See,
you all performed really well on them, and they were very impactful. So just seeing the Mumu go down and not Mordekaiser or Talia, where you guys arguably had way more impact than him, based on your standings and how ahead you were in the game, game one. Like I don't understand it going into game two.
it actually makes sense that they did that because in both games they were sending a lot of resources bot lane. I don't even think I did get ganked in game one. I did have to fight the Hecarim once or twice, but it seemed like my thought process now is maybe their bot laners are just the loudest people on their team calling for stuff. So
That could very well be the case, and
maybe
it did
that's it.
seem like the pressure you were getting top lane game one just didn't come early enough. It was like in a situation where you'd already beat down the Ornn, he wasn't able to really get a footing in the game, and then Hecarim was coming up like 7, 8 minutes, 10 minutes into the game where you're already established and you're in a position where
Yeah.
you could 2v1 them because you did in a quick little 2v1 you ripped the Hecarim up, and Ornn was able to pick up the kill, but you still went 1-for-1 in a trade that really didn't negatively impact you at all.
It's weird.
All right, just as we wrap things up, if there's any other questions from chat, as we finish up the interview, we'll wait a couple seconds for you guys to get those out. If you have anything to ask Swole before we end off the stream for the night.
No, that's it. It's two really clean games.
Yeah.
Congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Hopefully, you guys can win it all. Hopefully, they raise your guys' standings. You guys are still like listed bottom of the barrel.
Which confuses the absolute hell out of me. It doesn't make any sense, especially with how aggressive you guys play this. How very convincingly you cleaned up both games. I think it's very strange they haven't put you guys higher in the listings.
I'm expecting that to change.
This being the second showing this week, DOG we did face DOG from the Legends team last night. So this is game two for the battle of the orgs here. As we have convincingly taken the second game, second match from DOG this week. So appreciate that, Swole. You guys coming in right behind us, cleaning up. So It
And
seems
with
like
that, I don't see any more questions from chat. So, as always, tune in next Wednesday for our match with ZMG Frost. Legends will be on Thursday and Luna next Friday.
and that'll do it. Thanks, Swole, for joining us, and great job playing out tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure all of your very new established fans are going to be back to watch you guys next
you
week.
have a
You
little
gotta-
bit of an army in chat, not gonna lie.
I
bit of
had
a
to
bit of a fan
had to
favorite.
play good for him.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next week. You may or may not see me around as our actual commentator. Will most likely be back for the next stream. But thank you all for showing up, and have a lovely night.
Woo! MG win.